Hello, we're here. There's more than two of us because we have the amazing Kat Larson here today.
Three.
She's back.
Yeah, I believe in
we're
three.
back.
Who doesn't? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Who doesn't like
That's
a trio?
different kind of podcast.
Agents After Dark.
Agents After Dark. Here we are, the three of us together again, and we are going to be telling you the tea. Basically, what your real estate agents, us, would like you to know when you are out there in the world shopping for a home or selling your home. Just some all-around good advice and things, you know, maybe to avoid doing and things to absolutely do.
Here's what I've heard. There's a paradox in real estate. If you are a very good agent, then your clients have no idea how hard you've worked for them. Which is a problem. It's a little bit of a problem because they get to the closing table and they're like, what did you do?
They're like, give me my money, please.
And it's like, oh my gosh, if I had gone through and listed out every single step, they would have been so overwhelmed and never wanted to work with me. So the truth is, there's a lot that happens behind the scenes that we don't talk about because it creates stress and drama that is unnecessary. And our goal for our clients is to make it as smooth as possible.
Yeah, and I think what we're wrestling with is like no two clients are the exact same people, right? Every transaction is going to be a little bit different. Maybe clients are similar in what they're looking for, the house they're looking for, but the way they need to be communicated with, the way they need to be handheld, those are going to be very different things. So part of that, like getting into the right target of how much is the right amount of communication is a really subtle art that I think a good real estate agent can gauge, but not easy to display when you're trying to market your value, right, to a client and show them, hey, this is the stuff, here's my magic. It's really hard to package that like on something that they can buy on a shelf. You know what I mean? Like that they have to like believe it kind of thing first, or see it to believe it maybe. Maybe that's the word. I don't know.
And when you're in the midst of doing a transaction, emotions are high. Let's be real. So we want to just keep things low and slow.
Yeah.
Low and slow. So you want to knock it off?
Sure.
Or get it started?
I'm gonna just stop before I
that's
start.
it. We're done.
Knock it off, Sarah!
Can you tell
Seriously.
me that she's a mother?
She did ask me if she could have her afternoon delight. No, her afternoon, what do you call it? Your afternoon beverage?
Pick me up. My rocket fuel.
If she could have it like at 10 a.m. She's like, does this count as midday? I was like, oh, babe.
It depends on what time you woke up.
Yeah.
So if you wake up at like what, 4:30? So there you go.
4:30,
Yeah, I'd say that's midday for you.
Halfway through the day.
That's a lot of hours
Absolutely.
into the day by 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So.
I'm okay. I'm gonna pick and choose off this list here
You got
because
it.
I think we
It's
all have
fair.
some that we
Yeah,
feel
go for it.
closer to. I'm gonna start with lowball offers are a bit of a vibe kill.
Okay. I like it.
Because I have a perspective on both sides of the transaction here, representing the seller and representing the buyer. We get that everybody wants a deal. 100%, I get it. We want a deal. And sometimes first-time home buyers will feel like they are in a position to deserve a deal their first try out the gate.
They want to flex their power.
Yeah, so they want to maybe write a lowball offer. Now, every agent out there is probably going to feel the urge to resist, but our job is to act on behalf of our clients, obviously giving them guidance and being like, hey, maybe this offer is going to, I don't know, piss off the seller or make them think that you're not serious. But our job in the end is to act on behalf of our clients. But a lowball offer basically says to the seller, you're not particularly serious, or you're really trying to jab at them to see if they're going to take the bait. And lowball offers are twofold. You can have a lowball offer with kind of good terms that are favorable, and maybe that entices the seller to be like, hey, let's maybe try to work with this buyer because they've already agreed to, say, waive inspection and quick close, right?
All cash.
These are great terms, but the offer itself, the price is not where you want it, so maybe that entices them to work with that buyer. On the flip side, if you're going to give someone a lowball offer, this is speaking on the seller perspective side,
Okay.
and you don't have great terms, that tells me you are not serious, and that's probably the seller should not even consider your offer.
Yeah.
We recently had this experience on my end, so this is very fresh in the blood.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, our job is to write whatever offer our clients want to write if you're representing the buyer. And on the seller side is to advise the seller of what their options are when you receive a lowball offer.
Yeah.
I would also say that just because I get the feeling that some of my clients believe, okay, I'm going to write this lowball offer. They're going to meet me halfway. They're gonna take their price point. They've been on the market long enough. They're going to, meet me halfway. So I'm gonna take off $100,000. That'll probably get me a discount of $50K. It doesn't work like that, you guys.
Yeah. So if that's the thing you want your client to know, it's that, hey, rarely does this go in our favor. And it's really not something for a novice buyer or a first-time home buyer, right? That would be the thing. I'd sum it up and say, what I would want my clients to know. Do you consider a lowball offer the same as a bully offer?
No.
Exactly. Okay, I wanted to make that distinction. Just piggybacking, if we can do like a sub, like under this little outline.
Let's tell people what is a bully offer.
Okay, so a bully offer is going to come in hard and fast and early right out of the gate. It's going to be well before offer review date. It's probably like same day of listing or first weekend of listing, and it's going to be in an aggressive offer. It's going to say, I want this house under these terms so aggressively that you're going to take it off the market before you really test the full strength of the market and what it's going to bring you. So there's a difference between a bully offer and a lowball offer. That is really something clients should know, because one is like intimidating, kind of. It's like, oh, you want me to not even have my open houses this weekend? Like, I just listed Thursday, the offer comes in Friday, and they're like, take it off the market now. We don't want even anyone to come in and compete with us. So if you're going to be a bully offer, one, it can work under the right circumstances with the right harmony happening in the transaction.
I've had it work for me.
I've had it work too.
Under contract within 3 hours of it being listed.
So it can be really sexy in getting you the win if you got the right terms, like you just pointed out. On the other hand, if you're coming in with like a bully offer but you don't have those terms to match up with it, you're going to lose that strength, and people are not going to take you serious.
And you've showed your hand. You've given the listing agent opportunity to be like, hey, we got this offer. If you can beat this, this is what someone is willing to pay. So everyone else better step up their game. That's what happens if your bully offer doesn't work.
Yeah, and I think the final thing I'll say is for bully offers in general, like for the rest of the market that's shopping, is that you're competing with that under some circumstances. Like, you might be like the second or third offer that's coming in behind that bully offer, and it's so significant it's going to blow everybody out of the water. So one thing I'd want my clients to know is that might be what we come across as we're shopping, like to be ready for that kind of shopper as well.
Okay. Zillow is not the gospel. So I think that what we've learned in all of the broker meetings that we attend every single week is that the market is constantly changing. And Zillow does a really great job of aggregating a lot of data, but it's based on what is sold in the area, and they have no idea what the interior of your home looks like or the home that you're shopping for. So while it might say that your home is worth less than what you think it is or more than what you think it should be, you need to have somebody go in and really do a comparative market analysis to pull what has recently sold and talk to those agents. Like, what was the foot traffic like, and how many offers did you receive to actually get a good estimate of what your home is worth today?
Yeah, I think that's back to your point of what buyers and sellers really don't know, what you wish they knew. And that's all in the value we create when we're putting the CMA together, that it's not just like numbers we copy and paste it off of Google. There's usually phone calls involved. There's usually follow-up, and agents are busy. They don't always want to pick up the phone, or you might have to hound them a little bit to get that information. But if you're working on a CMA for this house and this one across the street's been on the market for 2 weeks, I'm talking to that agent for sure before I go in and present that CMA. I need to know what that hello, that's just part of doing a good job and being thorough with it. I'm sure there are agents that skip that step. I'm not willing to. I know Zillow just can't do that. They just can't deliver on that.
And they really are looking at the size of the property. So how many bedrooms, bathrooms, where is it located? There is an emotional component that we all know that goes with buying and selling a house. People get emotionally attached to these wow elements. And either the seller is emotionally attached and believes that they're worth more than what they are, right? So they're going to market it, or you're going to have hard conversations about, yes, that's a beautiful outdoor fireplace. Is it something that everybody needs? I don't know.
Yeah. I'll comment that when I'm doing a CMA, when I'm presenting a full pitch, I actually have data that I present to the clients on how much variance occurs from the Zestimate to what the home actually sold for. Like it's different enough that it needs to be included when presenting the data to the client. So say your CMA has 3 sold properties, right? Like, okay, how different did that number come out to at the sold number versus what the Zestimate said at the time they listed the home? Like sometimes it's up to 4%. On $1 million listing, that's a lot of money. And like Zillow I get it. It's an exciting number sometimes, but they just can't get it as accurate as like real-time boots on the ground, like body in the house, looking at the things, touching the stuff like first-handed.
And Zillow really does like rely on data that was in the market probably a month prior, if it's under contract and sold now. So the market shifts and changes, especially now with all of the executive orders coming out of Washington, the changes in the stock market, tariffs, all of that is happening in real time. That's going to have an impact on the buying and selling process.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yep.
I'm going to take a stab at this. One of the items we have on our agenda to cover being your cousin's friends' Facebook advice. Just please don't, is what we like.
Yeah.
And I think this is big because we just came out of a team meeting where we talked about like the information that exists outside of these 4 walls, social media, the news, like anywhere you're getting your information about the world, like the hype and hysteria attached to that, which is also like a very short-lived piece of information. Like we turn over information and absorb content so quick now compared to even just 10 years ago. And then when you actually sit down to look at that data, like we were just seeing in our market update, it's actually like nearly identical year over year for the last 3 years when you're looking at what happens in April, what happens in May. Like it's so predictable at this point. You have a one-off year that's going to cause some, like people are going to be nostalgic and hang on to that data, but what happens is, oh, but one time my friend in 2022 bought it this, and so you should wait, because here's what happens. It's like, but wait, why are you listening to your friend's cousin on Facebook? Like,
Who's never bought a house before?
Please don't do that.
Who hasn't taken the steps to go forward with purchasing?
Yeah.
Because they're waiting.
Yes, exactly. I was complaining to my loan officer about this. She's like, wait a second, have they ever purchased? Because the person was talking to me and they were like, I don't think I'm going to use you. And then like a year down the road, they still had not purchased anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, like if I had to sum that up, what I wish my clients knew is like, don't listen to anything you're seeing on a social media post. Like if you're really curious about getting yourself well prepared and market ready, it needs to be a face-to-face conversation with a licensed agent.
Yeah, and unless you're seeing like very localized news and stats on your Facebook about real estate, which I'm going to venture to say is not what's being wildly posted, you're just getting national news, which is a very like overarching summary of what's happening.
Too big of a target to pinpoint.
It's not specific to our area in the Pacific Northwest, which continually thrives in the housing market. It's
strong market here.
We have a strong housing market. It's tight with inventory, but people are still buying.
Yeah.
You know what I love?
Tell us.
I love when I find buyers whose parents are real estate agents, but they're non-licensed in the state of Washington, right? So they're in a totally different state, maybe Ohio, right? And they want to guide their child, and I get it. But again, what they're seeing in Ohio versus what we're seeing here in Seattle, it's 2 totally different ballgames.
Yeah,
very
We're
different.
talking about the major leagues and the minor leagues, you guys.
Oh, huge. Yeah, there's high stakes here. Even just when you target Seattle and like what that data is showing us, and you even go out 10, 15 miles, you're talking drastically different markets.
Right.
If you don't have the subtlety of like your navigation on the difference between Bothell versus Seattle versus like, I don't know, Kennewick, like you're gonna make a mistake in there if you're gonna treat them all the same. Like you have to have that super hyper localized focus to thrive. You're gonna get beat out
and
every time.
And if your cousin's friends sharing that on Facebook, I honestly would be impressed.
Yeah,
but
good job if they're that hip.
Probably
and
not.
Are they an agent? Why aren't you hiring them?
Yeah,
exactly.
Also, just a little caveat on that. I will say, like, for someone who's gonna come be like, you seem very qualified, but I have a friend whose kid is an agent and I'm thinking about using them. I'll just point out, like, maybe friends and business don't always mesh well. Maybe part of what I would like my clients to know is when you're hiring an agent, you're paying for their expertise, you're paying for their skills. We're not paying for the friendship, right? Because I'm already a good friend. I would have had a million clients if that's what we were paying for. It's hard to find
She's very
the right
popular.
niche. Oh, did I make it sound that way?
No, it's good. She is. She's so popular.
She has a
and that's why
million
she's on the show today.
Here
she would
I
have a million deals.
Here
We
I
all
am.
would. We're all
Here I
very
am.
popular.
Yeah, but I think finding somebody, finding a client who's going to recognize that skill set. Like right now, one of my biggest wins is I had a client who didn't want to hire me. I got brought in as a co-list, and she was like, "We already have someone in mind for this." And then we did the walkthrough, and it was a fantastic first meeting that they were like, "Where do we sign?" At the end of it, because what they got to see was my expertise. They got to see my localized, all of that skill show when I'm walking through the home and pointing out my strategy. They're like, okay, we're in. But that's not something you can get from just like a cousin friend Facebook post. Like that's a little more experiential, right? Like you have to be like present to win kind of thing. Yeah.
Totally. Okay, what's our next one?
I'm gonna go to, this is a big one. We've talked about this a little bit, but it's very important.
Okay.
Pre-approvals, not optional. It is the power you have when shopping. It's, if you don't have your pre-approval and you're just going out to look at houses, you are basically window shopping for probably something you can't afford, and you're gonna fall in love with it, because what do we say about real estate? It's emotional.
Yeah.
And we would all love to have like the big, huge, gigantic home with the 6 bedrooms and the pool in the backyard. But unless you've done your due diligence and your pre-approval to see that you can actually afford that, you're sort of just aiming for something you can't.
Like a heartbreak. That's what
You're aiming for a heartbreak. And honestly, it's so much more powerful to have a pre-approval.
I kind of love it when they don't, and their heart breaks a little bit.
Only in the first couple times.
Yeah, just because it's like that is like the precipice that they need to jump off of. Like before, they didn't feel like it was necessary to go do all of the homework that we've told them, and when they realize, okay, there is actually a house out there for me, and I love it, and I want it, but then they see, hey, everybody else in the room has done their homework and they're ready to go, and you're not. And the amount of time it's going to take to get you there, you're going to miss out on this deal. So
yeah, because when we write offers, it's not just about when you're going to look for the home and knowing what you can afford. When you are ready to make an offer on a home and you have your pre-approval, we are sending that over to the listing agent. We are letting this listing agent and the seller know, hey, my clients are well qualified to not only purchase this home, but close on it. Because we always talk about how important it is. It's great if you've got good terms and you make an offer that's accepted. Can you get to the finish line? Having that pre-approval already tells them, hey, they've started their file, they've done their due diligence, their ducks are in a row, and they are ready to go, and they're going to be responsible over these next 30 days till closing to actually close on the sale of this home. You can't have that without a pre-approval. I mean, you can.
Well,
you absolutely can. You can make an offer on a home without a pre-approval.
But
but you're probably going to get beat out by someone else.
Is where's your pre-approval letter? How do I know that they are ready to take this next step? And all we can say as agents is, I don't have one.
Yeah, you can say, oh, they're going to do it, and the listing agent's going to say, great. When? And in your contract, you've written how many days you have for your clients to open that file and get going. But wouldn't it be so much easier if you could just call your loan officer and be like, hey, we made an offer on a house. We got it. Let's proceed as planned.
I've got a golden ticket.
It is your golden ticket. It gives you peace of mind, and it gives the listing agent peace of mind.
I'll say, if we're ready to move on from that one. I want to talk about we can't predict the market. We can prepare you for it. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, information is gold. We can always do is prepare for it. That means for listers, that means for buyers. It means no, there is never a perfect time aside from right now. You know why? Because waiting is going to cost money no matter what.
Perfect time is 5 years,
Really though.
Yeah, I wish I bought a house in high school.
Yeah.
Can I get
great.
that? Yeah.
In utero.
Yeah,
that would be
I actually purchased my first house when I was 5, So I was
So
really
you're sitting
smart
pretty
back
right
then.
now. Yeah. Basically. I
wish.
think that's a huge one that I wish my clients knew is there is no predicting the market. There is no perfect time. There is no convenient time. It's just getting you as prepared as we can for this time. Yeah.
And it's hard to think that way sometimes as a buyer. I absolutely get it that waiting can cost more money, but even if interest rates go down a little bit, home prices are continuing to go up. So you still need more money to put down.
And And
so you're putting down less, and now you're taking a bigger loan. Sure, your monthly payment's going to be a little less because your interest rate is less, but you're taking a bigger mortgage, so your monthly payment's probably the same.
Yeah.
It's sort of like this math game that is really unfair, but as soon as you are like emotionally ready and have enough for a down payment that you're comfortable with and you are ready, go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it. Yeah. Because there's another topic that we can talk about really quick is staging. It's not just for fancy listings.
It's not.
It's not.
Definitely not.
I had the cutie condo.
Yep.
Cutie little condo, and we staged it, and it was adorable. It was half my seller's amazing furniture and half rented furniture. And let me tell you, it makes such a difference when you walk into a beautifully staged, space. Buyers can have a kind of a neutral palette to imagine their own life there. They're not seeing something that's super, super personal to the seller and imagining someone else's life there. They can start to see themselves living there. And it also helps with photographs, which is the first insight into any listing. Nobody's walking into your house without first looking through every single photo. It's not happening.
I mean, hold on though, because if your first 5 photos aren't fire, I'm not even finishing the next 30.
There's that.
So what do you figure? The MLS allows for up to 40? Is that number right?
Yeah.
40.
Give or take. And I'm gonna fill all 40 slots. If I've got a banging listing, I am going to put the pictures out there because I want people to be obsessed. But if those first 3 to 5 photos aren't bringing it and grabbing that attention, I'm clicking next listing. I have 100 more to look at just like yours. And so boom, boom, boom.
You know what I think is remarkable? How many $1 million+ homes I see on the market with no staging.
No. And no furniture at all.
No furniture at all.
Which is honestly, I think, worse because we cannot all imagine, nobody imagines space the same way.
No.
We see a ton of homes, we can kind of estimate the size of a room, but if you go into an empty space, your average buyer isn't going to automatically assume that they can fit a king-size bed with 2 nightstands and a chair and a dresser at the end. They're going to be like, this room's too small because I don't see anything in it, as opposed to seeing how much you could fit in it. It really doesn't.
Walking a house with a man, he's not going to be able to see any of it.
That's probably
Let me tell
true.
you. My man is a visual man. So we go into IKEA or some other place and he's like, I just can't see it in the space. And I'm like, babe, just imagine this and this. And he's like, I don't know.
I love it.
I don't know.
I love it. And he's one person. There's going to be a million different people who are going to struggle with their own part of that process as well. I think some clients might think, my house doesn't need staging. It's beautiful. That's one thing.
Yes.
So if I'm going to just build onto your point of
I have the best furniture around, and I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on decoration.
Yeah, that's one thing I wish clients knew then is that, look, me bringing up staging in the conversation isn't to be offensive. It's to get us back to that, hey, where are we trying to be? Where's that singleness of purpose, which is sell my house for a top dollar without leaving money on the table. I mean, and that's where you get it, because stagers are people who are going to be really, really skilled professionals at making that listing really pop. I'm going to do a really good job with what skills I have to bring, but if I'm going to acknowledge my limitations as a professional, I'm also going to acknowledge I don't have a full staging closet attached to my house where I have a house worth of furniture that I could just throw into your listing real quick for photos. It doesn't work that way with me. So I have my partners, I have my stagers, my go-to people who I'll probably scale it to the house, a listing at this much. My stagers are going to work with me and say, okay, this is how much staging you get for this size house, and so on and so forth. So it's really not just for the fancy listings. It's for everything in between, and they can try to get it that best shot.
Stagers won't just come in and absolutely get rid of all of your stuff. If you want to use some of your belongings and you have awesome furniture they can work into, awesome. Stagers will work with a whole realm of budgets and furniture and what you have. There's even stagers who will come in and only use your stuff but tell you, hey, get rid of these 12 items, put all this clutter away. Anything that feels super personal, move it out to the garage or put it in a storage unit. Let's make it as minimal as possible and as not, I don't want to say least personal, but really take out
any personal.
It's obviously going to feel personal because it's your stuff, but we don't want to see pictures of your family on the wall. People want to imagine their own life in there. So when we say staging, we are not saying oh, your stuff sucks, get rid of everything, someone's going to bring in everything. There are whole degrees of how staging works.
We are giving you an opportunity to pack up your things early. Yes.
Downsize.
That's right.
Yeah.
And to prepare for the next move.
Yes.
There you
It's
go.
an opportunity. All right, I think that's all we had for today.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, we're like
got
so
it all.
good at this.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's easier with 3.
Yeah, when we have 3, it goes like this.
Threesomes are great.
I mean, I bring a little bit of spice,
Yeah,
right? I bring a
that's
little
right.
variety to the
right.
conversation. Variety is
We're
the
so
spice
glad
of life.
you're here.
Thank you for having me. It's always fun to hang out with you too.
Yay.
Follow along for more, guys. Bye.
Bye.